Hello and welcome to MeadWestvaco Covington Safe Work Practices. In this video, we will tell you about our hot work procedure. This is not the hot work procedure in its entirety, but is presented as a training aid. You need to be familiar with and follow the written policy on hot work number 1200-115. As part of our Safe Work Practices program at MeadWestvaco, you must follow a specific procedure whenever you cut, burn, grind, heat, weld, use an open flame, or perform any other activity that may possibly ignite a fire. These same hot work procedures apply to all areas within the mill, as well as all processes covered by our Process Safety Management Program. MeadWestvaco maintenance shop facilities or other designated greenfield areas are exempt from these regulations. The purpose of the hot work program is to prevent injuries, to protect people, and to protect MeadWestvaco property. In this example, employees are making a repair in the recovery boiler department. Here we see a millwright who is cutting steel for the repair. 2 employees from the maintenance department will serve as the fire watch. To begin, the maintenance worker must obtain a hot work permit. This permit is issued by a supervisor or an authorized person. If a lockout, tagout, line and equipment opening, or an entry into a permit-required confined space are part of this job, you must also comply with those regulations. The worker should also review the process safety information that covers the job site if it is a PSM-covered process. They must also fully understand the nature of the process or operation, the potential hazards that may exist, and the appropriate responses to any emergencies. With any procedure that could possibly ignite a fire, the employees involved must plan together, communicate well, and work as a team in order to ensure everyone's safety. Training for fire watch requires no special skills beyond those expected of any labor employee. Those would include the ability to use a radio or telephone to summon help, the ability to use a fire extinguisher and/or 1 1/2-inch fire hose to extinguish a fire. The fire hoses are used for wash-up in the mill, and the ability to communicate to the other employees. The first task is to review Section 1 on the hot work permit, which will include the date, the name of the party to whom the permit was issued, the location of the job, the nature of the job, and the area that is to be inspected at the end of the job, and any special instructions will be noted in this section. Now, in Section 2, review the precautions taken to avoid a fire. The workers must first locate the nearest fire extinguisher and verify that it is charged, and also locate and charge the nearest fire hose. Then move any flammable materials at least 35 feet away from the work area and the equipment. Next, they must clear the area of any combustible materials. If the combustible materials are too large to be moved, the workers must shield them with a non-flammable material. Approved non-flammable materials include damp sand placed on floors, protective shields, and fire-resistant coverings. In addition, materials may be wet down to prevent ignition. If there is access to another level or an adjacent opening, the workers must cover that opening. This includes any opening or crack in the walls, floor, or ceiling within the 35-foot radius of the work site. If a duct or conveyor is present, the workers must shut down and shield them so that sparks cannot carry to combustible materials located in another area. The workers must put fire-resistant shields in place and welding shields when necessary if other people are present or adjacent to the work area to protect those people from sparks, debris, and arc flash. If the hot work being done is on or near a wall, ceiling, or partition with combustible materials located on the other side that are close enough to ignite, or on a pipe or other metal that is making contact with the combustible material, the maintenance worker must remove or protect that material before proceeding with the job. The same consideration must also be given to roofs when working on or near one that is made of combustible materials. Now, each worker must sign the permit to indicate that all necessary precautions are taken. Also, in Section 2, you will document the time for beginning and ending of the hot work. In Section 3, you will document all pertinent fire watch information. A fire watch is necessary when any hot work is being performed outside of a greenfield area, and special consideration shall apply when any of the following conditions exist: combustible building materials within 5 feet of the operation, the presence of any easily ignitable materials that could be impacted by the hot work, where wall or floor openings within a 35-foot radius expose combustible materials, and where combustible materials could be ignited by conduction or radiation, such as adjacent to metal partitions or a wall, ceiling, or roofs. A fire watch must have a 1 1/2 inch charged fire hose or a 20-pound multi-purpose dry chemical fire extinguisher available and ready for use before the hot work operation begins. The workers should also review the measures for sounding a fire alarm prior to the start of the job. Workers should also fully examine any potential hazards that may exist around the work site. To keep unauthorized personnel out of the hazard zone, the workers must barricade the job site and tell other workers in the area that a hot work job is in progress. The workers must also use the personal protective equipment that is appropriate for the task, such as hard hats, eye protection, hearing protection, burning goggles, a welding helmet, and safety shoes. After the workers have gone through the checklist in this manner, the permit must be posted at the job site. A permit is valid only for the shift for which it is issued. The maintenance workers can then conduct the hot work operation. After completion of the hot work, the workers must maintain a continuous fire watch for at least 1/2 hour, and under certain circumstances, the fire watch may be required for up to 24 hours. At the conclusion of the job, the maintenance workers must sign the permit and return it to the supervisor who issued it. The supervisor shall retain the permit on file for 3 days. Hot work is not permitted in any building equipped with sprinklers when the sprinkling system is impaired or in an area where large quantities of combustible material such as wood chips and paper are stored, unless approval is obtained from the Security and Property Conservation Manager. Hot work is never permitted in an unauthorized area or in any explosive atmosphere. Any employee or contractor who fails to comply with these guidelines may face severe disciplinary measures, possibly including dismissal. By following these preventive procedures carefully, you can protect yourself, protect your job, and protect your future.